Guys, welcome to the Vlad Catcher Show, the #1 show for founders, execs, and entrepreneurs who are scaling their businesses. This video is presented by Pythagora, and we have an amazing interview for you today with its founder and CEO, Zvonimir Sabljic, about how he created and scaled the business. Zvonimir, welcome to the show.
Vlad, thanks so much for having me.
So tell us, Zvonimir, what's the origin story? How did Pythagora come about?
We started Pythagora. We started tinkering with it. It was 2.5 years ago. I had my company before I sold it. So after the exit, started to tinker around with some different AI ideas with my friend, and we had a completely different idea and about how to basically encapsulate automated testing. And we were playing around with it, and this was like super early in ChatGPT days, maybe a few months after ChatGPT was released. And I had to build some super low level programming script like for intercepting TCP packages. This like a super low level. I did it maybe in college like 15 years ago. And I couldn't do it. It was like too low level, and I actually found the guy who would do it for 2,000 bucks, and I was literally about to sign the contract and actually get it to a professional to do it. And I was thinking like, I know that this ChatGPT thing, let me try to talk to this thing and see if it can help me. In 2 hours, I was done. So basically, I spent like 2 days working on it. I wasn't able to do it. Another guy, a professional, would take like a week or two to do it. And with ChatGPT, it took me only 2 hours. And at that point, I was mind blown. I was like, okay, I mean, this is some crazy, crazy thing going on. And I think this is also good even today. That was like early days of ChatGPT, but even today, people, don't have so much, don't try things out, So this is one of the things that I always try to promote. Whenever you have something that's going on, and you should always have AI somewhere there in your mind that you go ahead, try it out, either if it's with Pythagora, with ChatGPT, with anything. So anyway, after that thing, I was completely hooked. I started to think, how can we actually get this to help developers? And then we started to stitch multiple different LLMs. This was like a beginning of agents we didn't even know those were agents. And we started to play around with it. And then at one point we released what was called the GPT pilot. That was one of the first agentic systems for software development. It blew up on GitHub. We got like over 30,000 GitHub stars. We got into YC, and after that, basically it all started.
And can you tell us, how does the product work and what are some specific use cases?
Yeah, so Pythagora today, it's a platform for building applications, specifically tools. I really like to focus people on like thinking about building digital tools versus building applications. There are a lot of today vibe coding tools that you can build startups, you can build products and these kind of things. We're focused more on building tools that help people on their daily job. So building internal tools. So what you do, you open up Pythagora, you go to Pythagora.ai, you will have a big input field, and you just tell it, what are you struggling with? What do you want to build? That can be from like a fully fledged application, like for example, CRM. CRM is very common case what people are building with Pythagora, but it can be also like a single page, some kind of a tool that helps you in your daily work. So for example, in your case, Vlad, potentially you might have some bottlenecks in organizing podcasts, in working with different film crews, anything that feels cumbersome for you. What you can do, you can open up Pythagora, you can explain it, hey, I'm running a successful podcast. I have film crew, I have organization, scripts, and a bunch of things. I want to remove bottlenecks. Can you help me build this? And Pythagora will write up a full specification. It will build front end for you. You will play around. This will literally happen within 10 minutes. And after that, it will build the whole backend, the database. And once you're done, you will deploy it. And basically, you have everything in one place, one platform for basically managing all your digital tools.
So your product allows customers to create easily internal tools, right?
Exactly, and help them. What is more importantly, is helps them to remove bottlenecks in their daily job to so people can focus more on what they like, more creative stuff versus copy pasting things and doing all those cumbersome things that everyone does in their job.
Is this usually to simplify their jobs, or does your product allow them basically to avoid buying other tools? Because those are kind of slightly different cases, right? Like, are they using mainly your solution to simplify and be more effective in their jobs, or is it saves them from buying other products?
I mean, I would say both, because when you buy a product, you buy it for the first thing that you mentioned, to simplify your job, to not do, help remove bottlenecks, as I mentioned. The thing is that products today, like SaaS products, they're built to serve millions of people simultaneously. What does that mean is that you as an individual, you're likely using 10-20% of a tool, for example, the CRM thing. When I do sales, the first time when I started to do sales, I was thinking, I need some kind of a CRM. I researched a bunch of them. I went with HubSpot. I installed it. I tried to figure out how to do it. It had gazillion features. It was so hard to use. And in reality, I just need something to track the leads throughout the funnel. And so what I ended up doing is I ended up building it with Pythagora. And this is more important thing is that with Pythagora, you get all the upsides of buying a tool, but you get tailor-made, fully tailor-made tool for you, for your case, with all the integrations that you need, and you pay for one single tool, and you get unlimited tools. You don't have to pay for many of them. You pay only for one, and that's it.
Is there like let's say 5 most common things that they build via your product? Like you mentioned the CRM. Is there others, or is it very kind of spread out?
It's quite spread out, and this is what we are also pushing for people to do. CRM is actually 4% of all projects in Pythagora CRM. It's quite a big for one single use case, but we are pushing everyone not to think about, okay, what kind of a do I need, like OKR system or a communication system or this and that, but rather to build something that removes bottlenecks in your company. This can be either CRM, but this can be, one pager that converts CSV to XLS files, or anything that helps you, have a better time at your job. And with that, we have like a very, very wide range of use cases.
And who's usually the ICP who buys your solution?
Yeah, so today, biggest users of Pythagora are actually tech teams. That means, from developers, DevOps people, IT individuals. But in general, the ICP is a builder. This is someone who has this tendency. Let me build something. Let me help myself in my daily job. While today, most companies they have this problem where all the secrets and all the keys are in the tech departments. So what usually happens is that tech department signs up for Pythagora, they build some kind of a tool either for sales, customer support, or any other, and just gives them the access. And this is actually what we are launching just today. We're launching what we are calling secure spaces. When you're building an application, you need to put in a lot of time in security, in authentication, in managing users. And this is what we're seeing, that a lot of people who are using what is called today vibe coding, that's the problem, right? Where you vibe code something, you're not sure, if it's secure. What happens if I connect my data? If data leaks, that can be disastrous for a company. And so what we built is we built this system called Secure Spaces, where what you do, you don't think about, building application, authentication, user management, or any of these things, but rather you build your tool, you click invite your team, and you share the access with anyone from your team. And that way, all your data, all your applications are super secure within those spaces, and whoever you give access to, they will get access to the application.
And even though, you mentioned the kind of the main ICP currently is tech teams, they don't need to be technical to build these internal tools, right? Meaning any non-technical team can build the tools that they need via your product.
Absolutely, absolutely. And this is what we're encouraging people just to think of Pythagora as an assistant, as a truly human being, where you come and you tell it like, hey, I have this problem. I would love to communicate better. For example, I built one very, very specific tool for me and my co-founder. So I'm in San Francisco. My co-founder is in Zagreb in Croatia, and we're 9 time zones apart. And we have this very specific flow where every day when I go to sleep, I leave a bunch of updates for him so that he can start his day knowing what happened on my end and all these things. And it was like a really cumbersome process. We would do it on Slack and things would get lost and a bunch of things. And what I did is I literally removed that bottleneck. I told Pythagora, hey, I have this system that I'm working with my co-founder. Like, how can we make an application that will help us, track all of these things that I tell him, make to-dos, connect to Linear, connect to Slack, and that's it. Within a few hours, Pythagora built it, and I changed 0 lines of code, so no coding. You just talk to Pythagora as you're talking to a human being.
That's so cool. And what's holding like these? Because I'm thinking every sales team should use this product because every sales team has to manage leads, manage customers, right? There's always so many tools you need for that stuff. And like you mentioned, many of those tools are either overcomplicated or difficult, right? Here they can make a custom solution that's perfect for their team. Like what's holding them back? Is it that they don't know that a solution like this exists or that they're afraid of the learning curve? Meaning, what's holding all these folks back from using your product?
I think this is an excellent question, Vlad, and this is what I am personally very much focused on when I'm working with customers. And I would say a lot of it is in human psychology. People they get, for example, one example of this is prompting. In all the tools, like you say, you start with a prompt, and a prompt is connected to prompt engineering. This is a term that a lot of people heard, where you need to engineer your prompt. You need to know how to write the prompt. You have a bigger vision. You need to tell it everything, or something bad will happen. And that's completely not true. When I talk to Pythagora, I don't write a prompt. I literally turn on voice and I just tell, like, hey, I have this situation with my co-founder. We're 9 time zones apart, and I just tell it as if I'm sending a voice message to a friend. And so the answer to your question is more psychological, where people are still not sure what can be done with AI, how secure it is, what will happen with my data when I get on it. And this is one of the biggest things that we're working on, basically to remove all these blockages for people so that they can start utilizing AI more and more. Because, when I'm talking to executives in big companies, there is a big problem where people are still not adopting AI. While it is like everywhere, but the adoption is still not there yet. So much so that I just heard a few weeks back that a CEO is starting to give bonuses to employees based on the tokens that they spend on OpenAI. Meaning, hey, just use as much as possible AI. I want to incentivize people to use it more because people are not using it. And mostly it's about, all those psychological things, what is this new technology? How do I use it? I don't want to break something. I don't know, a lot of unknowns. But I think it's happening slowly more and more.
And customer acquisition is always so challenging, right? It's either too expensive or they can't find, the right path to acquire those customers. What currently works for you guys to acquire customers?
Yeah, I mean, customer acquisition, I think a lot of people focus on acquiring customers like the top line, what channels do I use? For example, we blew up a lot of on Reddit, on GitHub. A lot of people don't see GitHub as a channel at all. So there are a bunch of channels where you can go ahead and acquire users, but I don't think people should only think about those top line channels, but rather what happens when you get a user on your website. Then you have the whole onboarding flow. You want to get people to a success, some kind of success for whatever is your product, get them to a success as fast as possible. That means in Pythagora, that means giving them right away somewhere where they can write what they want to build. For example, my previous company, it was a whiteboarding tool. And what we did is on the homepage, you didn't have to, sign up and open up whiteboard, all these things. But the homepage itself was a whiteboard. And what would happen is that people would draw a line. And just by drawing a line and just by seeing this, getting this, feeling of, hey, something happened, this is what people should strive for. And I believe this is the customer acquisition, get them to a success, then onboarding, then showing them value proposition. And after that, when they hop off the product, then you send them emails and basically have this entire flow that doesn't go just by, getting the users to visit your website, but I would say maybe 60% of customer acquisition happens after the user actually gets and signs up for the product.
And you guys did YC. What did you learn from that experience?
Oh man, YC was great. YC was, as mentioned, I was a second-time founder, and I was thinking like, oh, well, I know all the standard startup advice. I know how to play this game. And when we were offered an interview for YC, I was thinking, well, should I do it? I mean, it's a lot of equity and these kind of things. And my friend who went through YC, he convinced me, listen, just listen to me, just go and apply and go into YC, and it will be great. And thankfully, I listened to him, and this was, I would say, one of the best decisions that I've made. In YC, you are surrounded with so many great people that it's hard to find. When you are living your daily life, we're not surrounded with people who are grinding so much. Like one thing that I always like to mention is just the notion of selling a product before you even build it. I'm a developer. For me, this is like unimaginable. I build something so you can demo it and whatnot. And I always thought that, yeah, it's kind of a myth, that you can actually sell something. And when I went into YC, when I saw how many people just build a prototype in Figma, they just have design and they go ahead and they close a like 10K contract, which is, that motivates you so much that it's like a really YC experience. I think it's not so much about advice. It's about being surrounded with people who are pushing so much and getting focused on building something truly great. Especially coming from Croatia, it's a small country, and you can build like a big company is, let's say $50 million company. That's a success. But when you go into YC, when you see that everyone is trying to build $50 billion businesses, just the motivation around that is just, uncomprehendable. So I would recommend everyone to go through YC, literally every single founder.
Another thing that's so interesting to me about your product, Pythagora, is it Pythagora or Pythagora?
Pythagora.
And doesn't it mean something? What does that word mean?
Of course it means. It's a mathematician, Greek mathematician, Pythagoras. He was a very, very famous and influential person from the ancient Greece, who invented a lot of stuff. He was a philosopher, he was a mathematician. So yeah.
The question I'd like, because I'm sitting here thinking about your product, and it just feels like every business needs internal tools. I mean, as I'm thinking about businesses from different sizes, from every different industries, like you just have one of those types of products that pretty much every business of every size should use it because all of us need internal tools. And it's so easy to create them, right? I mean, am I missing something here? It's just, it doesn't seem like you're vertical, right? Like to some sector. It seems like it's every business. No?
Absolutely, no, you're 100% correct. And not only that, the internal tools, they're always on the last thing on a priority list. You know, all the companies, they're more focused when you have some development team, you focus them on the core product. If you're paying for an external agency, you will pay them to get some meaningful traction, to build some app that will get meaningful traction. And internal tools are always the last on priority list. And it does make sense because it doesn't bring the money right away. And it was very expensive in the past. You know, in the past, if you need to put a developer on an internal tool, you need to spend in their hours maybe $10,000-$20,000 to build a tool. Then you have maintenance, organization, deployment. There's a lot of stuff that you need to do to create an internal tool. And today, this literally came down from, let's say, $30,000 to $100 in a few hours. And with this, what we're trying to kind of open eyes to companies is that you don't need to build, as I mentioned in the beginning, you don't need to build some big application like a CRM or something. But if you just take one, like a single page tool that helps you in your daily work, if you save 1 hour per week, that is, in a year, you will save 50 hours. That is over 1 week of work in a year for a single, like a random tool that just helps you remove some bottleneck. So yeah, to your question, absolutely all the companies in the world can use Pythagora, and I'm hoping that we will be the ones that actually move this productivity forward in all the companies and make people's working lives better, so that they don't have to work on some cumbersome things, but rather they can focus on creation and creative stuff.
Well, Zvonimir, I'm so grateful you came on the show. You shared, your story. We found out about your incredible product, many of your valuable lessons. Is there anything else you'd like to say to our viewers before we log off?
Yeah, I mean, one thing that I really wish for everyone is to start playing with AI, utilize it. It's interesting how AI is actually underutilized still today by most people. So use AI, play around with it, whether it is ChatGPT or any other product. If you have bottlenecks in your work, if you have something that you are not happy with, something that is cumbersome, time consuming, go to Pythagora.ai, just tell Pythagora what you're struggling with and see what kind of digital solution it will provide for you. I promise you it will be super easy. Within a few minutes, you will have your app ready. You can start playing with it. And yeah, that's it. Just play around and don't stop.
Cool. Zvonimir, thank you so much, man.
Vlad, thanks so much for having me. Bye bye.